In this video series, you're going to learn how to create your own product using private label products. They're widely available on the internet, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Now, you're probably wondering exactly how we go about building a product using private label products. There are a number of ways to do it. You can take one product and rewrite it, or you can take a product that's a video product and narrate over top of it and add to it, or you can just add to an existing product. But what we're going to do in this case is we're going to take several private label products and combine them all into one product. We're going to do a minimal amount of rewriting, but we're going to do some reorganization and some rewriting as well. We are going to take the concluded graphics and we're going to modify those, and we're going to create our own headers and footers. By the time we're done, we will have a completely unique product ready to sell on the marketplace. Now, the term private label is not exclusive to digital products. In fact, it's been around a lot longer than private label rights for digital products have. For instance, there's private label perfumes, magazines, food, stuffs, just about anything you can think of. You can get a private label and put your own labels on them. So if we were to search on private label, for instance, private label magazine, skincare, website builder, and it goes on and on here. So what you'll probably want to do is use the term PLR, because that's more common in digital products to use the term PLR, and then ebooks, for instance. So if you're looking for PLR ebooks, use that term, and then you'll come up with a bunch of different searches here, and then you can pick through them and find out what you want. So you need to do a little bit of research first. It also depends on the niche you want. If you wanted to find private label dog stuff, you'd put PLR ebooks dog or dog ebooks or something like that up here. There's also all different kinds of things. There's now private label video that you can use. And you can find private label video that you can use to modify and create your own product out of as well. So it depends what kind of things you're after. A lot of these are membership type things where you can get products every month. So if you're looking to put out products on a regular basis, that's a good option for you. If you're only looking for certain products to do a one-off, you might want to get more specific. For instance, in our dog example, PLR dog articles, for instance. You can find articles and actually create a book or an ebook out of articles. So here we go, private label dog articles. Okay, so this is another way to approach it. You can use articles, and then you can rewrite the articles. You see how many there are here. You can rewrite some of the articles and create an information product out of it. That's an easy way to do it. So as you can see, there's a lot here. So that's how simple it is to find content to create private label product out of. Now what we're going to do in this case is we are going to use several different products that I've found, and we're going to create one product out of them. Now what I've found here, and what we're going to concentrate on, is affiliate marketing. So I found the following products: Top Affiliate Tactics, 30 maximum conversion tips, ebook on social networking, and then 7 most common mistakes made by affiliate marketers and super affiliate marketing edges. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those 6 products and we are going to take content from all of them and put it into one larger product. There's going to be a minimal amount of rewriting, and what we're going to do is basically create a new ebook with different table of contents in it, and then change the graphics and the headers and so on, create a new sales page. At the end of it, we have a far improved product than what these were before. Okay, so now we're going to get started. The first thing you need to do when looking at private label products is have a look for a license. And it better have a license in it, because you need to know what your rights are. Okay, so it can be edited, your name can be put on as the author, can be broken down into articles, can be used as web, e-sign content, added to membership sites, sold in any form, packaged, offered as a bonus, given away, sold on auction sites, can give master resale rights, can sell private label rights, can be published offline. Okay, so that is what you're looking for. You need to make sure that it can be edited and you can put your own name on it. If you can do that, then you can generally, and of course that you have private label rights. If you can do that, then you can generally do whatever you need to do with the package. You want to make sure that it has a Word document in here or some sort of editable content so that you can mess with the content. And any graphics are a bonus. Now, in the case of these, we only got e-covers. But that's okay. We can, each of these products has its own cover, so we can go through and I'll show you how to modify the covers, and then we're going to create headers out of these covers as well. Okay, so now we'll get going and we'll start to put things together. Now, to create our ebook, we need to have some software. And all of this software that we're going to download is of no cost to you. The first one you're going to want to download, if you don't have it already, is called OpenOffice. And you can find that at openoffice.org. OpenOffice is an office suite, something like Microsoft Word, but it does some other things that we need to do. You can open Word docs with OpenOffice, so if you don't have Microsoft Word, you can use this to open the documents. But it does something else. It allows you to create a PDF file out of your ebook, which will be in doc format most likely, and you can also add security to the PDF file, which is quite important. So you can download this piece of software for free. And we also need a tool to create our website. And what we're going to use for that is a software program called Composer. And you can find that at composer.net. And all you got to do is click the download link here and then find your operating system and install. Here we go, install Composer for Windows down here. And just find the one you need and download it and install it. Now we're going to go through how to use all these programs once we get to that point, but for now I'm just showing you what you need. The next piece of software I need is called paint.net, and you guessed it, you can find it at www.paint.net. That also is in the resources document. What we're going to do with paint.net is we are going to modify and create site graphics. So you can go to paint.net and then download the latest version. Those are the three tools you need, and once we get to the point where we're going to use those, we'll go through that. Now at this point we need to start editing our ebook. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into each of these ebooks and pick out bits and pieces we want and paste them into our new ebook. Now we want to pick an order of the way we want to do things. So we want to go through each of these and decide, first of all, which part of these is going to go first, or in other words, which ebook is going to go first in the sequence in our table of contents, and then how the hierarchy is going to work. So Top Affiliate Tactics is probably going to go first because we have tips about conversion are probably going to go later in the ebook. Social networking is a part of marketing. And the 7 most common mistakes is going to be later in the ebook, and Super Affiliate Marketing Edge will be its own section as well in the marketing area. Okay, so let's open up this and go to the source files, or wherever they're keeping the doc files, and then open this up just by with your program that opens up. In this case, it's going to be Word. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to copy this whole thing in wholesale to start with. So now what you want to do would be to open up OpenOffice if you have it, or open up another instance of it if you already have it open. Okay, so here's OpenOffice Writer. And it doesn't really look much different than Microsoft Word does. And that's by design. So let's just grab from here down to start with. See, what we'll do is we'll just do a Control A, which will select the whole ebook. And then once we get to the other side, we'll start nuking out of it. So then do Control C, which is copy. You can also use Select All, copy and paste if you wanted to. So we'll go to our, this is our OpenOffice version, and then we'll just paste it in here. And then what we do is we go through and we edit out what we don't want in here. Now, first of all, I didn't bring the image in, which is fine because we didn't want that. The first thing to do is we're going to rename our product. So that's something you need to think about right off the bat. And we'll call this, you need to think about your title. I guess we'll call this the Affiliate Marketing Bible. Okay, and then we're going to want to put our tagline in here and change the legal notice in here. Again, delete things out of here that don't belong in here. Okay, and then change anything you want to change in here. You're also going to want to put a copyright notice in here because now this is going to be your copyrighted work. So we'll put your name here. Okay, so again, you would change anything you need to change in the legal notices. Okay, so I had a closer look at this now that I've got it in here. And this isn't quite what I thought it was. This is more about how to market affiliate products, but it doesn't go into what not to do. For instance, the affiliate mistakes, which is one of the projects that we have. And it also doesn't really go into selecting an affiliate product. So we need to get some of that in first. So we'll go back to our products and we'll have a look in there again. And we see here the 7 most common mistakes made in affiliate marketing. So what we're probably going to want to do is put some of this first. So again, we open this up in Word. And then let's just bring in the meat here. And what we'll do is we'll just bring in the part about the mistakes. And then we're going to just put this before the table of contents here. Actually, we'll just put it after the table of contents. We'll put it in this blank page that we have here. We're going to reorganize all this anyway, so we'll just paste this in. All right. Okay, so we brought in the 7 mistakes in here. Alright, so we got that part in there now. Now what we want to do is go back up to the table of contents and modify this a little bit. Okay, first thing you want to do is write an introduction. In this introduction, you should just tell them what the book's going to be about. And this should be in your own words. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell them about the 7 most common mistakes. Okay, now we're going to want to take out this out of the table of contents. We're going to want to rename that, but we'll do that in a minute. Now, the first thing we paste in here to begin with is just about marketing. So what we're going to want to have in here is a section on picking or selecting profitable products to market. Now what we want to do is have a section on marketing, which this ebook deals with. So we'll bold this part. And that's what this whole ebook that we brought in before was about. We'll just call this an introduction to marketing introduction. Okay, and then, so we've sort of got that laid out there. Now what we're going to want to do is go back and we're going to want to make a section on how to become a super affiliate. So we'll go back in here and in our under here. Okay, we'll get rid of enclosing and recommended resources. Put how to become a super affiliate. Now originally I said we were going to bring in a part about social networking, but we already have that in here, so we can skip that. And increasing your conversion rates will be our next. And then increasing your conversion rates. Okay, so that's and then we'll highlight these because they're sort of separate sections. Okay, and now we have our basic layout of what we want to accomplish here. And most of this is already done for us. We need to write our introduction. In this case, since I didn't find a PLR product about selecting profitable products, I'm going to write that myself, but you could just as easily find a private label product to do that. And then what we're going to do, let's get rid of this blank page. Okay, so we get past that, and then we go down to introduction. Okay, and then we're going to be writing this in our own words, so we write the introduction back out. Then basically what you should do is read through this and just give it your own flair in each section. And then of course you bring in the pieces that we haven't brought in yet. Okay, so that was a conversion rate tip. So we go to open up our Word file. And then again, we're going to bring in, skip the legal notice in the table of contents and all this crap, and just bring in the meat of the book. So we'll just copy from here down to the end of the relevant content. And then we'll just paste that down here. All right, and then the other part we didn't bring in was our super affiliate part. Again, in the source file. And then grab this as well and bring in the relevant part, which is below all this. Just bring in the relevant part here. Now this one's broken into chapters again, so you'll have to put these as sub-chapters underneath your section that you built for this. In other words, if we go back to our table of contents here, under super affiliate. So now what we'll do under here is we'll turn all our chapters into sections within this chapter. So we'll go back and we'll copy all of this into where it belonged, which is just above greasing your conversions. Now, after leafing through this, I find that there's only one chapter on becoming a super affiliate marketer. The rest of it is stuff that we can use to fill in the blanks. For instance, as I already said, that we can use it as our introduction and so on. So we'll be pasting different sections of this in. So we'll just copy the parts of this that we want into our part on super affiliate marketing, or becoming a super affiliate. So we'll just copy that bit. And then how to become a super affiliate. This is just before this conversion rate stuff. Now we'll insert a page break here. And then we'll paste our content in here that we just copied into our clipboard. Then we'll just change this heading here to be the same as in our table of contents. Okay, so now we have everything in here. Now it's just a matter of going through and editing it. Now we put several different ebooks together in here. We got different heading styles and different chapter numbers, etc. So we're going to have to go through. We're going to have to make it all look uniform for one thing. Then once we've done that, what we will do is we will change our content. Well, in other words, we'll rewrite parts of it so that it talks more like we talk and it looks more like something that we would write ourselves. Now, I'm not going to really go into rewriting everything and take you through an example of how to rewrite it. That's something you can do on your own. But what you do have is you have a new layout and you have a new table of contents, and you brought all the content in here. Now what you have to do is, like I already said, make it look all uniform and rewrite everything in it that needs rewritten. Now what you will do is you just really go through and read it and change the wording of it where you think you need to so that it sounds more like something that you would write. In the end, you will have your own unique ebook. Now at this point, you have this in OpenOffice, so what you would do is you will save it and just give it a name, whatever it is. And this is now saved in the OpenOffice format. And next we're going to go over how to create a PDF. Okay, at this point, you should have your PDF all finished, and I've gone through this and cleaned it all up. And I've switched things around a bit so that the table of contents isn't exactly the same as it was before. And I've made all the headings the same size and all the subheadings the same size and the same color. Made the thing more uniform. As well, I went through and read the whole thing and changed each paragraph on my way through so that it more accurately depicts the way I speak and the way I get points across to people. I've now truly made this my own product. Now, like I said in the last video, at this point we could create a PDF. And to do that, all you do is do File, and then go down and where it says Export as PDF and click on that. It then asks for a name for it. Click on Save. Another dialog box comes up now with the PDF options. Now you can use any of these options. For instance, if you want to just have certain pages, you'd put it here. And then the compression, export bookmarks, etc. Most of the time you're going to want to take the default on this side. Initial view. These are all the normal values that a normal PDF file has when you open it. And then the user interface. And security, and this is where you can actually encrypt the PDF document if you wanted to give it a password to protect it. So you can say encrypt the PDF document, and then you can set a password here if you wanted to do it that way. You can also restrict permissions. This will keep people from being able to do a copy, a paste, etc. And then you can set the permission password here if you want. But we're not going to do either of those. We're just going to create a general PDF. So when you click Export, it will have exported it for you. If we open our folder now, we can see that here's the PDF file. And if we open that, our ebook is now in PDF format, and the links that we have in here, if we find some, will be clickable links as well. For instance, here's one here. So you see that when we put our cursor over that, it allows us to click on the link, and it actually brings up the site that we're linking to in there. So that's all there is to creating a PDF. Now what I'm going to want to do though is I'm going to want to put an image in my document as well. So we're going to update this document later and then create a PDF. It's very important that you don't use the graphics that came with the packages. What you want to do is create your own graphics. Now some of the packages may have come with PNG files that have layers intact that you can modify if you know how to do that. That's fine. But what I'm going to do here is show you how to create some simple graphics using paint.net. This will not be a comprehensive instruction tutorial, but it will be enough to get you to be able to create your own graphics for your own site and to put in your ebook. Of course, the better option, if you're not very familiar with graphics, is to hire it out if you have the money, but I'll show you how to get started using free software. Of course, the first thing you're going to want to do is download and install paint.net, and you can find the link to that in the resources document. And once you've done that, we'll fire up paint.net. Now here's what the interface to paint.net looks like. You have some windows here. You have your history window, your layers window, and your colors window here. And what we do basically is we create a new layer every time we add something to an image. Now, the first thing we're going to do is create our header image, and we're going to create our header image at a normal size of 720 by 60. So what we do is go to Image and then click on Canvas Size, and then we'll click on 720 by 60. Click OK. And you'll see that we now have a banner shape sitting in our window. If we wanted to make that a little higher, we go back to Image, back to Canvas Size, and we'll make this 120. And that looks more like a typical banner. Now at this point we can do just about anything we want with this. Color wise, put text on it, put a picture on it and some text. The limit is only in your imagination. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose a background color. Now remember I said that every change we make we're going to do in layers. So click on layers and click add new layer. You'll see down in your layers window that we have a layer now called level 2. If you go down here and you click on properties, you can actually give this layer a name. So we're going to name each layer so we know what they are. So we're going to call this back color, which means our background color. And click OK. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pick the color we want for our background. So you can do it by clicking inside the wheel here until you find one you like. Or you can click down in the palette down here until you find one you like. If you click more, you can put in your RGB values in here. For instance, if you wanted black, you could put in 0000000, and that changes this to black. So basically just find a color you like and the color will appear in here. And you can use the slides to change your color as well. And the approximate position on the wheel that you like. So let's pick a sort of a light blue color here. And that's the color we're going to choose for our background. So what we'll do now is we'll go to our tools, which you'll find here. And then just go down to where it says paint bucket and click on that, and you'll see a little bucket appear here. Just place it inside here and click, and it now has made our banner the color that we've chosen. And I think that's a little dark, so let's lighten that up. There we go. Alright. So now we have our background color on here. Now we could add an image to our next layer. So what we'll do is we'll go to Layer, Add New, then we'll go down here to Properties, and we'll call this Image. And we'll go and find an image to put on our banner here. Now you can just bring one in that you have downloaded on your computer if you even want an image, or you can find one from open source images or public domain images and bring it in as well, whatever you like. Or you can take your own picture, or if you have some private label images, you can use those. Now since we created this image directory, or this image layer, what we can do is open up an image in Firefox and just copy the image and then paste it into here. An easier way to do it is actually to go into Layers and do Import from File and click on that, and then find the image you want to use on your computer. Once you find one you want to use, just click on it and it brings it in. Now you notice that it has increase the size of our image because it's too big. So what we're going to want to do is grab a corner of it and shrink it down and put it inside so that it fits in here. Now what we want to do is click on Edit and deselect, so it unselects that. Now what we want to do is change our canvas size. And do that, what we're going to do is select the old image part here and crop it. So what we do is we go first of all and we get our select tool and we get our rectangle select. Then we just select the part of our banner we want to use, like so. Go to Image and crop the selection. Now we have our header back to the size we want. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is put some text on it. So we'll create another layer. Now before we do that, we imported our picture as a layer and we didn't use this image layer. So we can go ahead and delete this layer just by hitting the little trash can down here. Just by hitting the delete layer, and we can get rid of that. And now we're going to add another layer, so we'll add a layer and we'll just call this one text. So click down here, click text, and click OK. Then all we have to do is click here and get our text tool. And then we can select our fonts that we want to use. So just find one you like. The size. And this is just like a word processor, all of these, here. So we'll select what we want. Then all you do is you come and you decide where you want to start here. Now if we were to type right now, our text is the same color as our background. We won't be able to see it. So what we're going to want to do is click on a color for our text. In this case, we'll just select black. And we can grab a hold of this little thing and we can move this where we like it. And now if we want to do a subheading, just go into Edit. And clicking outside of the area down here allows you to create a new text area. And then we can change our font size here. And even our font if we want. Just make this a little smaller. Oh, something like that. And then we'll create one more layer. And we'll just call this layer, and you can call it anything you want. You always just make it something meaningful, and we'll just call this ellipse. And we'll call this one more text. And we'll click down here and we'll just put in all new for 2007. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do an ellipse select. Then we're going to just put a little ellipse like that around it. Then we will do a bucket fill. Well, first we'll change our color to something like a light yellow like that. We'll do a paint bucket and just click inside there, and it highlights that for us in a different color. There you go. So now we've created a simple banner. Now you're going to want to save this. So do a save as, and then you're going to put it in your computer where you want to save it. So you just select it on this side, and then we'll just name this header. Because it's our header graphic, and we'll save it. So that has saved it in paint.net format, and that allows us to keep our layers intact, but this will not work on our website, so we have to save it as a JPG. Now we should deselect this, like so. So now what we want to do, and all that did was unselected this area here. So now what we want to do is do a save as, and this time we're going to want to select a different type here, and we're going to want to save it as a JPEG. So click Save. Now it's telling us, asking us about the quality. Click OK. And here it tells us we need to flatten it. What that means is going to take all of the layers and it's going to make one layer out of them. So just click Flatten. And we're done here. So this is now header.jpg, and we actually have the JPG open here. And if we were to go to our project folder, here's header.jpg. If we click on that, this is what our header now looks like. And we created this from just images and text. And you can do the same thing. And if we were to open that in a browser, so if we do an open with and then Firefox, for instance, and there's what it looks like in the web browser. So we now created a simple header. And that concludes this video. In the next video, we will go and create our footer and our buttons, and we'll also touch on creating an e-cover for our product as well. Creating a footer is very simple after you've created your header. All you need to do is make it a little bit smaller. So to do that, just go into Image and Resize. Make sure that the Maintain Aspect Ratio box is unchecked, and then just bring this down to about 2/3 the size. So we'll bring this down to 80. And maybe that's a little too big, so we'll just undo that. And you can undo something just over in this window by clicking on the place above it. So if we click on Open Image, it actually undoes everything below that. So if there are multiple steps below this, they would all be undone and you'd go back to the one you click on. So let's go back to Image and Resize and reduce this by half. So we'll make this 60 pixels. And there's our footer. So now we'll just save this as, and we'll call it footer. And we save that in paint format. Now we need to do a save as in JPEG format. Again, it asks us about the quality, and usually you can just leave it at the default, and then we need to flatten it. And now we have our footer. If we go back into our folder and we find footer.jpg and we click on that, there's what it looks like. And opening it in Firefox. and there's what it looks like in the browser. So we now have a header and a matching footer created from the header that we have already created. The next step is to create ourselves some payment buttons, and we'll do that now. Okay, now we're going to create our buttons. Now to do that, we want to make our buttons with the same background color as this. So what we're going to want to do before we open our project is to go into Tools and go to our Color Picker tool, and then just click inside here, and you'll see that it set our palette over here to be the same color. And now that we have that color set, we can do a new project. And we're just going to do this canvas size at 200 by 200. And then we'll put our button within this area here. Now what we're going to do in this case is we're going to make sort of an elliptical button, and we saw how to do that already. We just go ahead and get our rectangle select, and then on here, no, not rectangle. Okay, we can use our undo over here. We're going to get our ellipse select, like so, and then we got that little forward to the bottom, so we'll do a move selection, and we'll just kind of move it into the middle of the area here. And now we'll fill it with color, so we go to our paint bucket tool, paint bucket, and we've already got our color set. Just click inside this selection like so. Now what we can do is put the same image and size here inside as we used before, but this time we're going to resize it first. So we'll create a new layer first. And then we'll go and find our image on our computer, and we'll make a copy of it, and then we will resize it to be the size we need. Now to do that, we're actually going to open the image itself as a new project. So we'll do an open, and then we will find the image on our computer. And we'll bring it in. Now we didn't lose anything. If you notice up here, we have the one we were working on and the one we have here currently. So what we're going to do now is we're going to resize this image, and we're going to make this make this 150 by 150. And then we'll save it as, and we'll put it back in with our project here. And there we go. So now we'll go back to here. And now we'll import from file, and we'll bring in the one we just had here. You see that we did make it a little too big, so we can just grab the corner. Put it there. And then we can create another layer. Actually, we'll unselect that first. So deselect. And now we can create another layer. And we'll just call this text. It's layer 2 we didn't use, so we can delete that. Call this layer text. we'll get our text tool. And then we click in here. Make sure we switch our color back. And type in move that where you like it. And that's basically how you do it. Now, I personally don't like what we did with this image, so I'm going to remove that. And this is the great thing about working with layers. If you don't like something, we can remove this layer without affecting the rest of the image. Okay, and then we could actually we delete this layer as well. And just go right back to the background. And we could, if we wanted to leave this layer and add more text, we could do that. But we're just going to create a whole new layer now. Let's call this text again. I was just doing that picture on there to show you that you can actually resize an image to use on your buttons or wherever you want to use it, very simply using the Paint program. And then we'll create another layer now. And just call this text 2. And then something like that. And there, now we've created a simple matching button. Again, you can put images on it or do whatever it is you want to do using the Paint program. This is just an image in its simplest form. So now what we'll do is we'll do a save as, and we'll just call this button. And we'll save it in Paint format first. And then we'll also do a save as, and then we'll save it in JPEG format. And there it is. So that's how we create a simple button using our same color theme. Now we can also create a button straight from an image. Now let's just do an open, and then let's open our image that we have here. Now what we can do is just bring an image in, and then we can get our ellipse select, and we can actually select part of this image. Actually, I don't look what I did there. Let's go back. Go back to our ellipse select. And we'll select a part of this image that we want to use as our button, like so. Then all we got to do is go into Image and crop the selection, and there we have our button there. And now what we can do is create a new layer, and we'll call this our text layer. Now the great thing about layers is that also you can put text right over top of what you already have there on your new layer. So now we're going to change the color of our text. Something like this. This is just for an example. We're not actually going to use this button. I'll go to the text tool. Okay, that's not a good color, I can tell already. But we'll move this in. Well, maybe it is. Anyway, you can change the color on the fly since we already have this selected. Something like that. So that's how you can create a button just by using an image and cropping the image into the size that you want using one of the selection tools. So that concludes the section on buttons. Now it's time to create our ebook cover. It's beyond the scope of this course to teach you how to make the actual cover outline, but what I have included is some links to places where you can get free ebook covers. Then all you need to do is modify them with your text and pictures. If you want a more comprehensive course on Paint, you can look in the resources section and find out where we have one. Now what we're going to do is go to one of the resources that I point you to, and then we'll pick one out of here and that we want to use. Let's just use this one. So we'll do a copy image. And we add a new layer, and then we'll do a paste into layer. And there it is there. Oh, we didn't need that layer. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to change the color of the ebook to be the same as the color of our previous ebook. So to do that, we'll have to open our old project to get the color back. So we'll do an open. And then we'll go to our color picker tool. And click in here. And now we can close this one and just go back to the one we were using. Now what we want to do is use a tool called the Magic Wand tool. What the Magic Wand tool does is it will change colors according to the color we have picked. So we set the tolerance. If we set the tolerance low, that means that the color has to be really close to what we pick when we click on here to select it. So what we're trying to do actually now is select a color. So the first thing we should do actually is make sure we have nothing selected. So if we click on green here with a low tolerance, anything that is close to this green will be selected. So we'll click on that and we'll see that it selected only the cover portion. Now what we can do is go and do a paint bucket and click inside there, and it has changed our outside of our ebook to the same color as we have here. And go back to our Magic Wand tool again. Okay, so that's not really what we want, so we'll set the tolerance a little higher. see what happens here when we fill it with the paint bucket. So what we'll do now is we'll just do a deselect, and there's what our ebook cover looks like now. Now let's just take our rectangle select and just select down here and create a little spine. Like so. Now if we click this, it will switch the two colors, and what we want here now is black. And then we'll go back to our tools and go to paint bucket, and there we go, like so. Okay, so now we've defined the spine a little bit there. Do a deselect, and there's what we look like there. So we've now modified the template that we brought down to look like the rest of our stuff with the same color. Now all we have to do is place our images and text on top of it, and we'll do that now. Now to continue making our ebook cover, we need to install a plugin for Paint.net that doesn't come with it, and it's called the Oblique tool. And what that does is it will curve the text to the same angle as the ebook. Now in your resources document you'll see Oblique plugin. Just grab that text and then key that into your, or paste it into your browser and download it. Once you've downloaded and extracted it, you'll see inside it one file called oblique.dll. Now you have to copy this to the Paint.net plugins directory. So what you do is you just copy this, and then you have to go to your computer and find where Paint.net is installed. That's normally going to be in Program Files and then Paint.net. So we're in Program Files, then we go down and we find Paint.net. Go inside there, then go inside Effects, and then paste oblique.dll inside here. Once you've done that, you'll have to actually shut down Paint.net and open it up again. So make sure you save your image first that you've created here to a Paint.net file. So just do File and Save As, and then call it box cover or whatever you want to call it. Make sure that it's saved as Paint.net. Save it and close Paint.net and reopen it. Now once you've reopened it and you've brought you do an open and bring your project back in, if you go into Effects and you go into Distort, you'll see that Oblique is now in here where it wouldn't have been before. Now we're going to get to how to use that in a minute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer to put our text of our ebook in here. So we go to Layers, Add New Layer, then we'll just call this Text, or whatever you want to call it that makes sense to you. And then we'll go get our text tool, which we already have here, and then we'll select our font, our size, we'll make it bold, and then we'll just pick a spot on here. Make sure your color set to the text color that you want, and then we'll put affiliate. We'll make this font a bit smaller. Okay, so this is why we need the Oblique tool. You'll see that the text is going straight across, but our ebook actually slopes up like this. And this is where our Oblique tool comes in. So what we want to do now is go into Effects, Distort, and Oblique. It brings up a window like this. Okay, so this happened to be set right now, but what you do basically is we started down at 0 here probably. So you started out like that. All you have to do is inch it up using this arrow here, or you can key a whole number in there. And then with this one, you can move it to the left and right. And then this changes the detail of the text a little bit. As you can see, the text changes slightly. Once you have that set, just click OK, and your text will be placed the way at the angle that you want it there. If you don't quite have it, you can bring up the oblique tool again. Once you're satisfied you have that on the right angle, okay, and then we can put our next piece of text in here. Effects, distort, oblique. Actually, we should have put that on its own layer. So we'll undo that. We'll add a new layer. And we'll call this text 2. You could also name your layers the same name as the text. Okay, now we'll go to our oblique effect again. And you'll see that it's moving that around. Like so. And you could do move selected pixels. Move that up like so. Okay. Then when we're satisfied with that, now we can add our picture in on another layer. So we'll create a new layer. Actually, we'll just create a layer from a picture we can do. So what we'll do is we'll find a picture we want to put on the front here, and we'll shrink it down to size first, and then we'll bring it in as a layer. So we'll just open an image on our computer like we did before. Now, of course, your image should have something to do with the subject you're doing, which this clearly doesn't, but this is just as a demonstration. So let's change the image size. And then we can reduce it just by... Okay, so now we'll just save that. And we'll go back to our project here. And now we'll do import an image from a layer from an image. And we'll bring this in. And bring it down here. We'll just stretch this out a little bit. Okay, so first let's deselect. And now let's go to Effects, Distort and Oblique. And then use these controls to bring things into line. Like so. When you're satisfied with that, click OK. And the last thing we want to do is put something on the spine here. So we create one more layer. We'll call this layer Spine. And then we'll set our tool to our text tool. And we'll set our font down to 9. And then we'll call this Affiliate Marketing Bible. And now bring up the rotate and zoom tool. And then we just rotate this where we want it. Okay, and then we can grab this here. Something like that. Okay, we'll set that there. We'll grab our move selected pixels. Move this where we want it. And there, you've now created a simple e-cover, text on the front and a picture on the front. And down the spine you have your title as well. Now a couple things we need to do. First of all, we didn't set our canvas size to be about the same size as the ebook. Right now this whole thing is our canvas size. So what we should do is go and do a rectangle select and just select around the ebook like so, sort of as close as we can, and then go to image and then crop to selection. And then what we need to do, of course, is save it as a PDN. Just save it again. And then we also need to save it as a JPEG file. So just go here and then save it as a JPEG. And then flatten it. And there we go. So there's what our box cover looks like in JPEG format. And there's what it looks like in the browser. Now it's time to build our website using a free program called Composer. You can download that from the link that we've given you in the resources document. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is gather up all the images we're going to use into a new folder. So go into where you've created your images and copy the box cover the footer and the JPGs of these, the button and the header, and copy them into their own folder. So I created a folder called Page, and I've copied all of these images into that folder. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start on our site, and we're going to use Composer. This is going to be a simple tutorial on Composer, just showing you the basics. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on Composer, you can see our video series on how to use Composer. And you can find that in the resources document. But we'll give you the basics here. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is create a table that's the same width as our header. So if we go and we have a look at our header and we right click and do a properties, go to details, we can see here that our dimensions are 720 wide, width 720 pixels. So we're going to go back to Composer. First thing we're going to do is do Table, Insert, and Table. And click on the left box up there, and our table now appears here. Now right click inside there and go into Table Cell Properties. Go back to Table. And what we want to do is create our width to be 720 pixels. And then we want our table aligned to the center. Click OK. Okay, click inside the table. And now we're going to insert our header image. So click on Image here, and then click on a little file folder. Find the folder that you created, which was called Page, and then click on Header. Give it some alt text, which is alternative text. If it can't find the image itself, it will put that text in here. So we'll just call this Affiliate Marketing Bible and click OK. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, and then click on the Enter key and you will advance down the side here. Now we can start filling in our content, and this works just like a word processor. You have all your alignments here, bolds, underlines, italic. You can set your fonts in Format and Font, and then you can pick your fonts and your styles and so on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create a headline. So we'll just click on Center, and then we'll go to Format, go down to Paragraph, and we'll do Headline 1. And then we'll put our headline in here. Okay, so something like that. And then if you wanted a subheading, you could go and you go to Format Paragraph, and then you could put your headline 2 here. And maybe you want to change the color, you do that right here. Alright, so something like that. And then maybe you want to put your ebook cover in here. So we'll go and align this back to the left again. And then we'll click on Image. And then we'll find our image, book cover. And now the actual size might be too big, but we'll bring it in and see how it looks. And we're going to want our text to wrap to the right, because otherwise it's going to show underneath the ebook when we type. And it's telling us it wants alternate text, but we're not going to bother with that right now. Okay, so there's our ebook. And so we just now continue with our text if we want, or we can shrink the ebook down. Just go back to Image Properties. You right click on it, go to Dimensions, and then we can change the dimensions. Now changing one dimension changes the other dimension at the same ratio. Click OK, and there we are. Alright, and then of course you can highlight all this, and you could change the font just like so. And if you wanted to bold it again, just select it, click the bold button, and it's bold. So it does truly work just like a word processor. So at this point you would put your sales text in here, and you'd make sure that you point out benefits rather than features. You can put some features in, but you want to tell people what the benefits are. Make money easier, whatever the benefits of the certain product you are setting up here, whatever those benefits are, make sure you point them out. So your sales copy here. And then when it comes time to insert your payment button, just click on center, click on image, location, and then click on button and bring it in. There's your button. Any other text you want, you'd put down here. And then to go down to the bottom of the table, and here you're going to want to put in your footer. Like so. And then we'll just change the image properties then that we're in here, and make sure that you put the text at the top. And that way it moves it down so there's no room for text underneath it. So that's basically how you do it. You create a table, you put your image at the top, your header image, put your headlines, bring in your ebook, and then you type in your sales copy, import your button, and of course you'd have to put your PayPal code or whatever your payment processor behind that. Any further text, and down at the bottom you would put your image. Now what you want to do is go to Format, and you're going to want to give your page a title. So the title is going to be, in this case, Affiliate Marketing Bible. Your author and the description. You could save the page as a template if you want. That way you could load it in again and modify it every time. But you don't have to do that. You can just bring in the same page again and modify it. So, okay. So now we see that there's a title up here. So now we're going to save as. And inside here, we're going to want to rename this. We're going to want to just call this index, because that's what your server looks for when it is looking for a web page. Now, the last thing we're going to want to do is just right-click on the image and go into Image Properties, and click on the URL as relative to page location. That way, it's not going to look for that long string. When you upload it to your server, it's going to look for this string to find the image. You don't want it to do that. So just click on URL as relative to page location. Do that with every image. Okay, and then click Save to resave it. Now if we go back to our folder page, we'll see that there's an index in here. If we click on that, our web page will come up in the browser, and there it is. Images are all intact, and our page is ready to upload to the internet. So all you do is upload the contents of that folder up to your web server, and your page will be ready to show. So that's how you use Composer to create your web page. Now the last thing I want to do is to take our ebook and just add our cover image into there now that it's done. Okay, so we open it back up in OpenOffice, and then we just decide where we want to put our ebook image, and we'll just put it right there, and we'll just insert a picture from File, and then we'll find it on our computer, and we'll insert the box cover. And there it is. And of course we can use the tools up here, to left align it or whatever it is we're trying to do here. There it is. So we've now finished that. So we'll save this, and then again we export it to PDF, and then we save it and overwrite. Select our options, and you can usually take the defaults unless you want to use some security and stick a password on it. And click export, and we're done. Now we can open this up in PDF, and here is our PDF document with the cover inserted. And it's all ready to go. So that's it. You have now created your own product out of strictly private label items, and you've created your own graphics, your own website, and you're all ready to go. So that concludes the video series.